We're speaking to Professor K.K. Muhammed of the Archaeological Survey of India. Sir, your statements, your evidence was very, very pivotal in the Ram Mandir case. You've also been doing further research and you've raised a lot of research and evidence with regard to Indian history. Since we're talking about the case for Ram, we're talking about the Ayodhya matter. You, in your statement right now in the book launch, have talked about how communist historians had tried to twist history. Could you tell us a little more?
No, because the Muslims were ready to hand over good section of the Muslims were ready to hand over this one controversial mosque to Hindu community for building a magnificent temple. But at that very important time, it was the communist historian who interfered in all these things and then persuaded the Muslim community that Professor Lal had excavated the site and he did not get anything which favors, the previous existence of a temple. So this was their creation. So Muslims had no other way. So it was only the communist historians of these people they were not archaeologists. They had never visited the site, even before the excavation, nor during the excavation, nor after the excavation. So without knowing the subject, they were, propagating this kind of false stories. So somebody had to give an answer for that one. So for the first time, Professor B.B. Lal, who had led the team, he gave a befitting reply. Then later on, I came up and I gave a statement in Indian Express on 15th of December 1990, saying, that whatever these people are propagating, these are totally false. And we have got a number of evidence on which we can very well say that there was a temple below the mosque. So that was a sharp rap on their knuckle, because nobody were giving this kind of answers to those people. And I thought that they would be having certain replies against me, but they could not.
So, after this verdict, we've seen the proliferation really of several other temple mosque cases. There are a lot of mandir masjid cases going on right now. As a historian, as an archaeologist, how do you see this entire controversy panning out, especially since this is such a emotive social religious issue?
No, see, we should be very careful about this thing. I say to the Muslim community three important places. So one is, already over. And then we have got Mathura and also we have got Gyanvapi. These three important places are as important for Hindu community as Mecca and Medina are for Muslims. So Muslims should willingly hand over these three places. One is already over, and Mathura and Gyanvapi also.
What about the other matters?
No,
Because now there are about 19 petitions across the country which are all based on similar mandir masjid. In fact, today you've given the example of the Quwat al-Islam masjid in Delhi, in which case your own ASI has said that, well, this should not be made an issue of controversy.
This should not be made because no other other than these three, no other demand should be come from the Hindu community. That is also very important. Even some of this Agra group of people, they have filed a case against me also.
Okay.
So that is the thing, the way the Hindu community is responding, there is nobody to control them, and anybody is going and filing a case. We should remember that this is a country. So country, we have to have a united country, and we have to have a strong country, for which the only solution is hand over these three places to Hindu community, and Hindus should stop there. They should not come with a long list, because that is not going to solve the problem. It will be in terms creating the problem. So there, what is happening now with the Hindu community is there, there is no one to control them. They are raising so many questions like this one, which ultimately would defeat our own purpose and serve that extreme views of the Muslim community. So that should not happen.
At the moment, sir, there is also this entire controversy about the Taj Mahal. There is a movie that is coming out. How do you see this?
Totally false, because I was in charge of Taj Mahal and I have seen every part of the temple. They say it belongs to 11th century, Paramara period. In 11th century, Taj Mahal has got number 1 arches, number 2 minarets, number 3 domes, number 4 pietra dura, that is inlay work. So the kind of arches which is there employed in Taj Mahal, this was not here in India. The arches itself were not there. Then how can you have an arch in 11th century? Similarly, you were not having this kind of domes. Domes mean, there are two types of dome. The domes were for the first time introduced after the coming of the Muslims. And that too from 1192 up to 1526, that is the Sultanate period. It was only single dome. For example, if you go to Lodi colony, it is a single dome, it's not a double dome. The double dome came after 1526. They are claiming that it belongs to 11th century. So you cannot, so the first double dome is in Sabz Burj. Sabz Burj is in the Chauraha of Humayun's dome. And the second double dome is in Humayun's dome. And Taj Mahal's dome is a double dome. So if you are not having a dome in India, how can you have, this kind of things in
So
11th?
you're saying that this kind of claims.
Totally false. And I have seen every part of the Taj Mahal. There is nothing of that one. It was, of course, there was a palace of Ban Singh was there, which later on came to Jai Singh. And from the Jai Singh, Shah Jahan had purchased it. And the most important thing is, Shah Jahan, this one, Jahangir was he is the son of the daughter of Mahal. That is the king of Jaipur. And that is Man Singh's sister. So she was a Hindu and Akbar was a Muslim. So he came in that wedlock. And in this Shah Jahan was born, in Manmadi. Manmadi means Rathore family. His mother's name was, Manmadi or Banmadi also it is said. So he was, Jahangir was half Hindu and half Muslim. Shah Jahan was only one quarter of a Muslim. So, and it was purchased from them. And there are firmans also which was issued, that you hand over these things to me and I will give you this one for lands, instead of that one. All these farmans are there in Bikaner Museum also, in Jaipur Museum also. So it is another attempt by totally, the fanatical Hindu groups to claim everything belongs to them. They had Pushpak Vimana, they knew surgery and all these
In
things.
fact, sir, that is going to be my next question. You very recently have criticized the government for over their approach to cultural heritage, about how the country is dealing with cultural heritage, its protections. What exactly is the government doing or not doing?
Actually, we all expected a lot from the BJP and RSS government when they came to power. And we all knew some of the important people also. So we thought, there would be a kind of, the protection would be more from the side of these people and they would be taking a lot of interest in culture. But it was not like that one. We call it as the dark age of the period of BJP for the last 11 years. It is the dark age of Archaeological Survey of India.
Why is that, sir?
Because, nowhere the construction, the kind of construction, this one, conservation that should have taken place, that was not happening. For example, my own Bateshwar temple, where I had worked, along with the Chambal dacoits, there we have been able to reconstruct near about 90 temples. But during the BJP periods, only 10 temples were, during the last 11 years, only 10 temples were reconstructed. And that too, after trying a lot. I had to do a lot of exercise for that one. Otherwise, even that would not
What
happen.
about the excavations, sir? Because we're talking about very recently, in the last few months or years, it has come up, the excavations that are happening in Old Fort in Delhi, the excavations, say, in Dholavira, the excavations of the Harappan and early, the ancient period excavations. Where are we going with that? Especially since we're talking about culturally, or as a country, talking about India's ancient civilization.
No, we are talking a lot, but at the same time, that kind of, in Puranakila also, the excavation should have continued. But till this period, till this time, he has not got, Dr. Vasanth was excavating it. He has not got the permission for doing that one. That should have been done. And similarly, excavations in various other parts also, it should have taken up by the government. But they are not, I don't know why not, because, they perhaps they are in power and nobody can criticize them with regards to culture is concerned. because they claim that they are the real owners of the culture, but that is not so. At various places it is happening, which was not the case during the Congress period. Yeah.
Thank you very much for speaking to us, Professor Muhammad. Professor KK Muhammad is criticizing the BJP government, saying that they are not doing enough to preserve, excavate, and look into India's cultural heritage. The question is, why not? In New Delhi, this is Anisha Mathur for India Today.